Hi, good evening everyone. I don't know if that light is a bit bright over there. But anyway, I hope you are well. I'm just going to check that you can see me. So if you have any questions at all, you can type them up in here and I can see it. Or I will have my phone over there so you can direct message me on Instagram and I can have a quick check. So if you'd like to, we can start in supported bridge. You can use your block or you can use a firm pillow. If you're playing music, whether it's your own music or mine, just have that nearby. We're going to work on mobilising the hip, moving the hip in different ways. So your hip, it will flex, so this is flexion, and it will extend as you bring the foot back down. It will abduct, come away from the midline, and it will come in, abduct. It circumducts, and you can rotate it in that ball and socket joint. So we're going to move it in lots of different directions. We will be coming into supported bridge. We will be bringing our block, so it will be this way, round on your mat. And we'll start off on the low, we'll keep it on the lowest setting. And this block is going to be on your sacrum, which is here, where those vertebrae are fused. That's where we're going to rest it. So, if you're playing music, let's get that playing. So let's press play in 3, 2, 1. And then when you're ready, let's come down to the floor, making sure that block is handy. Feet about hip width apart, spread the toes wide, gentle hug into the midline, activate that glutes, just so you can lift the hips up and then just slide that pillow or block in place. Now, if you don't have a block or pillow, just keep that sacrum, that lower back on the floor. Just check that you're nice and comfortable. If you need to lift the hips, just push down through the feet. And from there, just release the arms down by the side of your body. Just move them away slightly. Soften the fingers, the hands, the shoulders. Check that you're on the back of the head. And just close your eyes. And then just allow the weight of the pelvis to rest on the block. Check that you're not flaring or pushing up through that rib cage. And the face is soft, the belly is soft. And just a few rounds of your natural breath here, calm and smooth. Just allowing yourself to settle into your practice. A little bit of self-care, a little bit of mindfulness. And then just thank yourself, your body, for allowing you to turn up for practice. And I'm going to thank you for being here. Just a few more rounds of that natural breath, calm and smooth. Let's start to breathe with intention, to deepen our breath. Let's direct that inhale through the nose to the side and back of the rib cage. Nice and easy exhale out through the nose. Long deep inhale to the sides, the back of the rib cage. Nice and easy exhale. Just carry on in your own time. Just checking that the weight of the pelvis is resting on the block. And keeping that breath, let's just activate those deep tummy muscles by having that gentle hugging. So think about drawing those hip points together. And then slowly float the right foot off the floor so the knee is in line with the hip. Just pause in here. And then just gently turn the knee out to the right so the foot just floats in towards the midline, just a small range of movement. And then slowly bring it back. And bring the knee out and slowly back. So that gentle rotation of the knee to the right, slowly back. Let's do one more. And slowly float that right foot down. Float the left foot off the floor, knee in line with the hip, and gently rotate, knee out to the side. So the rotation is coming from the thigh bone in that hip joint. Let's do two more. Last one. And then slowly float that foot down. And then from here, slowly float that right foot back up, knees in line with that right hip. Option to place the left hand on that left thigh. And then from here, just circling that hip joint. So imagine that bone is a spoon and you're just stirring. So you're just stirring in your pot. So just imagine that socket is a pot and you're just stirring. Don't worry which direction you started in. And then slowly change direction. Checking that there's not too much movement of that left leg, that resting leg. Slowly come back to center, float that right foot down. Slowly float the left foot off the floor, left knee, left hip. You've got the option of floating the left hand to the floor and placing the right hand on that thigh. Right thigh, just to remind you to keep that leg still. That's just an option. And then circle. Just stirring in that hip socket. And then just slowly change direction. And then slowly come back to center, float that left foot down. Keep that gentle hug in. Keep the pelvis resting on the block, coming into leg floats. Let's start with the left foot, float the left foot off the floor. Left knee, left hip. We're not bringing the knee in towards the chest, just so it's level with that hip. If it feels too much, then don't bring it up so high. Let's come back to the left. And then the right, doing alternate legs. Keeping that gentle hug in. We're going to do one more on the left and one more on the right. And then from here, both feet flat on the floor. Spread the toes. Check that the toe mound is in contact with the floor, that big toe mound. Feel the arch of the feet activate. Keep that gentle hug in. Use the glutes. Just lift the hips slightly, just so that you can move that block out the way. And then stay here in a low bridge. Check that those glutes are firing up. So we're waking up those glutes now. Check that you've got that gentle hug in and the pelvis is in neutral. And just rest the arms down by the side of your body. And then from here, we're going to come into heel raises, starting with the right foot. Just float that right heel off the floor. Keep the ball of the foot and big toe mound in contact with the floor. Float the right heel down. Then the left. Float the left down. I'm just going to carry on, alternate legs, rising the heels, one at a time. Keep that pelvis in neutral. Keep that gentle hug in. So I'm firing up the glutes, working those legs. I can feel my calf muscles starting to work. If you can, let's do one more each side. And then just pause here. Keep those glutes activated. And then roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, upper back, mid back, lower back. And then slowly come back. Come to neutral. So you're not pushing that lower back on the floor. Those hip points and that pubic bone are roughly level, holding it here. Maybe a gentle sway of the knees from side to side, just gentle, small range of movement. And then come back to center. And then from here, let's come back to our leg float, starting with that right leg. So gentle hug in, float the right foot off the floor, slowly lowering it down. Then the left, slowly lower. And then the right, slowly lower. Left, slowly lower. And this time when you float the right foot off the floor, pause here, and then maybe float the left foot off the floor. And then come into toe tap. So tap the right toe to the floor, slowly up, then the left. Now if this feels too much, just bring the feet down to the floor and then come back into your leg floats. Keep it slow and controlled. Keep that gentle hug in. Pelvis is still staying neutral. And try and breathe wide and full to the side, the back, or the rib cage. Now you're going to have the option to flex the feet. Slowly lower the right heel to tap the floor, heel digs, and then the left heel. Now if that feels too much, come back to your toe taps or come back to your leg floats. Keep the upper body nice and relaxed. If you can, let's do 2 more on each leg. So right, left, last one, right, and left. Gently hug those knees in. Maybe a little sway from side to side. And then slowly float one foot down, the other foot down. And then just heel toe the feet so they're a little bit wide, maybe towards the edges of the mat. Bring the arms out about shoulder height and soften the hands, the fingers and the elbows. Coming into our active twist. So gentle hug into the midline. We'll slowly bring the knees over towards the left. Now that right foot stays in contact with the floor. So on the outside edge of that left foot. Activate the glutes for hip extension. Feel the arches of the right foot activate. That foot stays in contact with the floor. So the legs are active, so we're not just allowing them to flop over to the left. Stay in here and breathe. And then take a nice deep breath in. Float the legs all the way up to knees to center. Gentle hug in. Bringing the knees over to the right, so the outside edge of the right foot comes in contact with the floor. Activate the arches of that left foot, so keep that left foot in contact with the floor. Glutes are on for hip extension. That gentle hug in, glutes are working. Those deep tummy muscles are working. Legs are active, so they're not just flopping to the floor. Inhale, slowly come back to center. And as you exhale, come back over to the left. Remember to keep that right foot in contact with the floor. Activate those glutes. And inhale, center. Slowly bring the knees over to the right. Left foot stays in contact with the floor. Glutes are on. Keep that gentle hug in. And then slowly come all the way back to center. Just slide those arms down a little bit. So they're not too close to the body, palms facing the ceiling. Bring the feet back to the hip width apart. Then slowly float the left foot off the floor. Rotate the left knee out to the side. And then just rest the left heel on top of the knee. You can stay here. You can slide that foot down to the outside edge of that left foot. It's on the thigh. So you're coming to a figure of 4. Now you can stay here with the right foot in contact with the floor, or you can float the foot off the floor and place, which I'm demonstrating now, your block underneath your foot. Or keeping the arms on the floor because we're coming into a figure of 4. So you can float that right foot off the floor. And then if the foot's off the floor, maybe bring that lower leg up so the ankle's in line with the right knee. Flex the foot. We're not using our hands to support us. We're keeping our arms on the floor. Flex both feet and then press the right thigh into that left foot, the left foot into the right thigh. Pause in here in this active figure of 4. And breathe. Upper body's relaxed. Check that you're not jutting that chin up, but you've got the length in the neck. Keep that gentle hug into the midline. Pressing the right thigh into the left foot into that right thigh. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly float that right foot down. Float the left foot off. Bring that leg back to center. Slowly float the left foot down to the floor. Float the right foot off the floor. Rotate that right knee. And then slowly place the right heel on top of the left knee. Just pause in here for a moment. And then if it feels comfortable, you can slide that right foot onto the thigh, so the outside edge of that foot's on the thigh. You can stay here. The left foot can come on the block, or you can float it off the floor. And then bring that left lower leg so it's level, so the ankle's in line with the knees, flex both feet. And then push the left thigh into the right foot into that left thigh. Check there's no discomfort in the knees or the ankles. Upper body relax. And just breathe. That gentle hugging. We're not curling the tailbone off the floor, keeping that lower back in contact with the floor. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, float the left foot down. Bring the right foot off that thigh. Rotate it back to center. Slowly float that right foot down. And then you can either rock and roll up, or you can just roll to one side. If you're rock and rolling up, just bring those knees in. Bring the hands underneath, so they're on the back of the hamstrings, the calves on the top of your hands. And just gentle hug in. Bring the head up towards the knees. And just gently rock up. You can rock and roll up a few times if you want to. And then from here, let's all meet on our seat bones. Feet flat on the floor, hands behind you, fingertips maybe pointing towards the front of the mat or turned out to the side. And then just gently roll onto the outside edge of the left foot, inside edge of the right foot. Slowly bring the feet to the floor. Come onto the outside edge of the right, inside edge of the left. Just gentle knee rolls or windscreen wiping, whatever you want to call it, from side to side. And then maybe make those movements a little bit bigger. And then maybe you can bring the knees to the floor and come into your 90-90. And then slowly come up and over if that feels comfortable. 90-90 over to the left. Let's do that 2 more times each side, only if it feels comfortable. If not, just stick with that little knee roll. And then we'll all meet in center. Just open up that chest, lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. And then just check that you're not C-shaping that spine. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And then just gently sigh the exhale out through the mouth. 2 more times. Last one. And then from here, we're coming to standing. So if you need to, like me, tie your hair back, please do so. Grab a drink. And I'm coming towards the front of your mat. You don't have to be right at the front. I'm just going to adjust this so make sure you can see me. And then from here, take a nice deep breath in. Nice and easy exhale. Spread the toes nice and wide. Big toe mounds in contact with the floor. Think about tripoding your feet so you can activate those arches. So heel bone to the big toe mound, toe mound and back. Pelvis in neutral, so you may need to soften the knee. Arms just dangling at the sides. Crown of the head towards the ceiling, really lengthen the spine. That gentle hug into the midline. Inhale, float the arms and fingertips up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, start to bend the knees, hinging from the hips, so a hip hinging with a lovely long spine, all the way down to the floor. Fingertips to the floor, and then from here, step that right foot back, bring that right knee down, low lunge. And then from here, bring the top of the right foot down towards the floor, slowly come up to your kneeling lunge. Check that the pelvis is neutral. Activate the right glute, gentle hug in and float the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Feel the shoulder blades lift up and then feel the lengthening down the sides of the body to really reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Looking straight ahead. And then take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, float the hands down towards the floor. That right knee is underneath that right hip, and from here, slide that left leg all the way back through so it's long behind you on the toes behind you. Shoulders are over the wrist, spread the fingers wide. And then from here, activate the glute, gentle hug into the midline, and using that left glute, float the toes off the floor. Just pause in here. If it feels too much on your lower back, just bend that knee and breathe. And then from here, on your next exhale, float the left toes to the floor. I'm just going to swivel around so you can see what I'm doing. And then from here, just slide that foot out to the side. Now, some of you may be able to bring the foot flat to the floor. Some of you may need to bend the knee. Some of you, your leg may be a little bit back at the ankle, may not be in line with the hip. And then from here, tuck the right toes, keep shoulders over the hips, gentle hug in, take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, float the hip to the heels. And inhale, shoulders over the wrist. Let's do that 2 more times, hip to heels. When you're ready to inhale, float all the way back up. Exhale, hip to heels. And then slowly float all the way back up. Slide the toes back round. Float the toes off the floor so that left glute is active. And think about bringing that heel to the back wall. So you're leveling out the leg rather than high. Bending that left knee. And then from here, step it forward. Coming into your low lunge, come up onto your fingertips. From here, keep the right toes tucked. Lift the right knee. Step forward. Halfway lift at the front of the mat. Check that not jutting that chin up, lengthen the spine, hips float back, gentle hug in. Push down for the feet, and then slowly hip hinge all the way up, keep that back nice and long. And as you exhale, slowly hip hinge all the way back, plant the hands. And then from here, step that left foot back, left knee down, top of the left foot down. Slowly come up into a right kneeling lunge. Reach fingertips all the way up to the ceiling to push down to the top of that left foot. Left glute is on, pelvis in neutral, gentle hug into the midline. Feel the lengthening down the sides of your body. And exhale, float the palms down towards the floor. Check that that left knee is underneath the hip. Slide that right leg through and under the body. Lengthen it out behind you on the toes. Activate the right glute, gentle hug into the midline. Shoulder blades are in neutral on the back of the rib cage. Float the right toes off the floor. And pause here and breathe. And exhale, float the right toes to the floor. Slide that right leg out to the side. Pause in here. Remember, you can bend that knee. Tuck the left toes if they're not already tucked. And then take a nice deep breath in. Float the hip to the heels. And when you're ready to inhale, float the shoulders back over the wrists. And you'll come back down. And then you'll float back up, working with your own length of inhales and exhales. Last one. Pausing here. And then slide the right foot all the way back down. Activate the right glute, float the toes off the floor. Hold it here. Reach the heel back behind you. Bend that right knee. Step it forward, low lunge, up on your fingertips. From here, lift the left knee, step forward, halfway lift, and then hip hinge all the way up. And slowly bring the hands down through to heart center. Bring the arms long by your side. Take a few deep breaths here. And then from here, bring the hands through to heart center. Allow the thumbs to connect to the heartbeat. Soften that left knee, shift the weight onto that left foot, and then just slide that right foot back, coming into your high crescent lunge, your high lunge. From here, lovely long spine, crown of the head towards the ceiling, pelvis in neutral, right glute goes on, gentle hug in. Soften the fingers, the palms apart slightly, soften the shoulders, elbows point down. Just a few breaths here. I'm just going to quickly turn my music down. And then from here, inhale, lengthen that left leg, and then just swivel the back toes round to face the right long edge of the mat, and then come onto the heel of the left foot, swivel the toes round, toes are level and we're parallel to that long edge of the mat. Coming into a side lunge, we're going to bend that right knee. Hands to stay at heart center. You're going to lengthen the spine. You're staying square onto the floor. We're not rotating round. You've got the option of placing the palms on that right thigh. You can place that left hand in front of that right knee and making sure you move from the hip joint, not from the pelvis. Some of you may be up a little bit higher, some of you may be lower. You can soften this left leg. Check that you're square on and that you're not rotating. Check that you're not jutting that chin up or allowing the head to drop forward. Take a nice deep breath in and float over to a left side lunge. So just float the hands over, set your base. So moving from the hip joint, not from the pelvis. Spine is nice and long. Holding here. Keep that spine long, checking with the head and neck. Inhale, float up and over, right side lunge. Up and over to the left. Check your base. And then inhale, come all the way up, crown of the head towards the ceiling, and then just swivel your toes round. Set your base coming back into your high crescent, and then reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. That lovely long stretch here. Gentle hug in, right glute is on. Now from here, you're going to have an option. We're coming to a single leg standing balance. You can either slide, just bring the hands to your heart and slide that leg forward and then come into your single leg balance. Or some of you may be able to find your focal point, core on, and step straight into your single leg standing balance. So some of us will have our toes on the floor. Some will be hovering just above the floor. But some of us can become high, but just work with what's working with you this evening. We can get that out. That gentle hugging. So really rooting down through that left foot. Left knee slightly soft. Lengthen the spine. And slowly release. So I've got my feet hip width apart. Checking at that pelvis in neutral. Thumbs to the heartbeat. Soften the shoulders. Elbows down. And this time, let's soften the right knee. Shift the weight up to that right leg. Step or slide that left foot back. Coming into your high crescent lunge, pelvis in neutral, lovely long spine, head is over the pelvis. Just pause in here, check in with the breath, and just spread those toes wide off that front foot, maybe on that back foot as well. Take a deep breath in, lengthen out that right leg. So start to swivel around the toes on the back foot. I'm coming up onto the heel of my right foot, swiveling the toes round. Checking with the feet, toes are parallel. This time we're coming into goddess. So just bring those heels in and then bend the knees. And then the tone out of your toes will be whatever feels comfortable through your knees. So you may need to have the toes pointed more to the front long edge of the mat or turned out a little bit more. Check in with those knees. Knees are going in the direction of the toes. Now at the moment my pelvis is not in neutral, so I'm bringing my pelvis into neutral. I've got that gentle hug in. And then you can bring your arms to goddess arms. Elbows roughly in line with the shoulders, palms facing away. You can stay here, or you can do a little pulse for 1, for 2, for 3, for 4, for 5, for 6, for 7, and for 8. You can stay here. Maybe you can sink the hips down a little bit lower, just checking the feet and the knees. Keep that gentle hug in. And then inhale, lengthen, release the arms, swivel around, coming back into that high presence. Remember 2 lines, not 1. Check that your pelvis is neutral. Once you've got your base, float your fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. That gentle hug in. And then just breathe in wide and full to the sides, the back of the rib cage. Keep that gentle hug in. Hands down through to heart center, and when you're ready, we're going to transition into our single leg standing balance. So really root down through that right big toe man, spreading the toes wide. So remember, you can keep the toes on the floor, just hover the toes above the floor. And then slowly release that foot down, bring the feet back hip width apart, and maybe just do a few shoulder rolls here. Take a few deep breaths, maybe grab a drink. And then I'm just going to give you a quick demo of what we're going to be doing. This one comes in. So we're going to roughly combine what we've just done. We will start with a hip hinge. So let me just demonstrate and then go. We'll step back into a fingertip low lunge. We'll keep our right toes tucked. Now you're going to have 2 options here. It's sort of like a runner's combined with a forward facing triangle. So we'll lift the right knee and then float the hips up and back. So you don't have to bring the right heel down the floor. The right heel can be lifted. And then what I've done now, I've come up onto the heel of my left foot and I've lifted up the ball of my foot and my toes. And then I'm going to shift forwards. My foot comes down, tap my right knee down, up and back. Check that you're not jutting that chin up, that the neck is in line with the rest of the spine. And then your other option will be just staying with the knee on the floor. You can adjust that knee back if you want, and you can just float backwards and forwards. Now, you can, if you want to, whichever one you're doing, if you've got 2 blocks, you put your hands on 2 blocks, but if not, you can just use 1 block and place your hands on the block. Then from there, we'll come up into our kneeling lunge. We'll swivel that right lower leg under, come into a kneeling warrior 2. And then we will bring one hand down and we'll press the back of the hand into that knee. And then from here, we're coming into gate pose. Then we'll do a side bend in gate. Then we'll hip hinge forward, tucking the toes, back foot, and then we'll come backwards and forwards, rock backwards and forwards. Then shoulder over wrist, and we'll bring the belly round, float the arm up. So making sure you're leading with the belly and not with the arm. Now this is the transition I want you to look at. Coming here, you can either step or slide that left foot in, that front foot in, so we're coming into a kneeling lunge. And then from here, you may be able to step straight the way up and then come into a baby tree. So the toes can be just above the ankles, a little bit higher, or the toes can be on the floor. We'll pause here and then you have the option to come into a bigger tree if you want to. Now some of us from here, we may need to come up, push down, slowly come up, and then take our time coming into tree. Then we're going to do a crescent, and then we'll come back to our side lunges. But I'll talk you all the way through that. I'm just going to check to make sure I've got no messages. Cool. And check on my phone. And let's start with that big flow. So weight even through both feet, spreading the toes wide, pelvis in neutral. Gentle hugging, just staying here. Soften the gaze and close the eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Just silently exhale out from the mouth. 2 more. We're breathing into the sides, back of the rib cage. And if your eyes are closed, gently open them. Inhale, float the arms, fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. And then start to hinge at the hips, bend in those knees, hip hinge all the way down the lovely long spine, fingertips to the floor. Let's step that right foot back, right knee down, bringing the hand underneath the shoulders, and then tuck the right toes, low lunge. That gentle hug into the midline, make up your mind what you're doing for your runners. And when you're ready, remember you can use blocks, lift that right knee up, hips back, float the toes off the floor of the left foot. And then let's come forward, tap the right knee down, left foot is down. Hips up and back, float the left toes off the floor. That's 2. Let's keep going. Keep that gentle hug in, check in with that neck. This is 4. And 5, that's if I'm counting correctly. And 6, got 2 more. 7. And 8, and then slowly bring that right knee down. You can keep the toes tucked, reach fingertips all the way up. Have a lovely long stretch here. And then just slowly release the arms, swivel that right leg underneath the body, come into kneeling warrior 2. Bring the arms up, check your base. And then just keep that left arm as it is, float the left hand down, back of the left hand gently pushes against that left knee, that left thigh, and then that thigh pushes into the hand, and then just release the right hand down here, just pause in here, lengthen the spine, crown of the head towards the ceiling, right glute is on, and then just release that hand, and then slowly lengthen out that left leg. Remember, you can bend it, or you can just keep it here in with the knee facing forward if that feels more comfortable for you. And then reach left fingertips all the way up to left fingertips, right fingertips all the way up to the ceiling, left palm is on that left thigh. And then option to side bend over. So gate pose, side bend, pausing here, maybe releasing the left ear towards that left shoulder, reaching up through the fingertips. Inhale, slowly come back up, release that right hand down, hinging from the hips, plant the hands so that underneath the shoulders, tuck the right toes. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, float the hip to the heels. And when you're ready to inhale, float the shoulders back. Exhale, hip to heels. Inhale, float up. Let's do one more, but just pausing it here. Remember, you can soften that left knee if you need to. And on your next inhale, slowly float the shoulders over the wrists. And then from here, coming into a twist, so we're bringing the belly round to the left, rotating from the left, and then float the left fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Check to make sure that you can look down at that right hand to make sure the shoulder's over that right wrist. So push down through that hand, lengthen up through the left fingertips. And then just check that you're not jutting that chin up or down. Make sure there's no tension in that neck. And then on your next exhale, slowly come back round and then float that hand back down. Step or slide that left leg in. Fingertip low lunge at the side of your mat. And then take a nice deep breath in. Nice and easy exhale. And then inhale, let's transition and meet up in our baby tree. Spreading the toes wide of that left foot, soften that left knee, pelvis in neutral. Soften the shoulders, find your focal point. You can stay here in your baby tree and grow branches. Or if you want to, you can bring that right foot a little bit higher. Option to wobble like this. And then you're just going to push that left thigh into the right foot into that left thigh. Crown of the head towards the ceiling. Gentle hug into the midline to activate those deep tummy muscles. And if you want to keep the hands here at heart, you can. If you want to grow branches, you can. And then from here, just slowly release, hands through to heart center, and then step back and meet me in your high crescent lunge. Pause in here, set your base, have a lovely long stretch, fingertips towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, step that right foot back onto the mat and come into a straddle, toes are level, parallel to the long edge of the mat. Then for your side lunges, you have the option, you can bend that right knee, you can stay here. You can bring the palms to both thighs and then you can side lunge from here. Roll those shoulders back, have a little shimmy. Or you can bring the fingertips to the mat and then side lunge from side to side here. Relax the head and neck and then maybe have a little shimmy of the rib cage from side to side from here. You can bring your hands to blocks. So your option, fingertips to the floor or the blocks, or your palms can be here. You're just going to keep that spine long, moving from the hip, not the pelvis. Let's do a few more. And then wherever you are, we're going to hip hinge all the way up, nice and tall, and then slowly swivel all the way around. 2 lines, not one. Come into that high crescent lunge, hands through to heart. Take a nice deep breath in and a slow, slow exhale out through the mouth. And then just slowly step forward, check in with the feet, release the hands. Take a nice deep breath in, reach fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. As you exhale, hip hinge all the way down. And this time, let's bring that right foot back, right knee down, low lunge, fingertip low lunge. Left toes are tucked. Take a nice deep breath in, float the hips up and back. Come onto the right heel. Don't worry if the left heel doesn't touch the floor. And then slowly lower the left knee down. And then slowly up and back. Float the right toes off the floor. Try and keep that spine nice and long. Check that you're not jutting the chin up. So that's 3. Coming up for 4. Let's just do 4 more on your own time. Just thinking about floating the hips up and back. I think I've got 1 more to do. And then bring that knee down. Slowly float the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Lovely long stretch. And then just slowly release the arms. Swivel that left lower leg under, coming into your kneeling warrior 2. The toes of this left foot can be touched or the foot can be flat on the floor. Float the arms up. Bring the back of the right hand to the inside of that right thigh. Releasing that left arm down. So pushing that thigh into the hand, hand into the thigh. I can feel it stretching down the inside of my right thigh. And just slowly release. Lengthen out that right leg. Pausing here. Gate pose. And then lengthen the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then side bend over if that feels comfortable. Gate pose, side bend. Remember, you can soften this right knee. Keep reaching out through the left fingertips. And then inhale, slowly come up, release the left arm down. Hinging from the hips, bring the hands down, tuck the left toes, shoulders are over your wrists. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, hip to heels. Remember, you can soften that right knee, shoulders over wrists. And we're going to float back down and up. Float back down. Slowly up. And on this one, as the hip comes to the heels, just pause in here. Slowly float up, shoulders over the wrist. And then just bringing that body round to the right, and then float that right arm up. Look to the left hand, check that that left shoulder is over the left wrist, leaning back into that left shoulder blade. Reaching the right fingers up towards the ceiling, pushing down through the left hand. Core is on. Check that there's no discomfort in the neck. You do not have to look up. And exhale, slowly releasing. And then sliding that right foot in, coming into your fingertip low lunge. Take a nice deep breath in here. Nice and easy exhale. And on your next inhale, we'll slowly all meet up in our baby tree. Set your base, spreading those toes wide. Don't worry if you're off your mat. And then if you want to bring that foot up a little bit higher, you can do so. Just taking your time. Gentle hug into the midline, soften the shoulders. If you want to grow branches, they can be short, they can be out wide, they can be tall like a pine. And don't worry if you sway. I was swaying all over the place on the other leg. Keep that gentle hug in. And we're going to release the hands through the heart center, and then slowly stepping back into your high crescent lunge. Just pausing here. Then reach fingertips up, have a lovely long stretch. Release the arms, step that back foot, that left foot onto the mat. Come into your straddle, toes level. Just come out as wide as feels comfortable for you. Parallel to the left side of that mat. And then let's come into the left side lunge. You can stay here and float over and back like we've done before. You can roll the shoulders back, you can have a shimmy or fingertips to the floor, all blocks. And then just do your side lunges from side to side, making sure the spine is long, neck in line with the rest of the spine, and making sure the movement's from the hip or the pelvis. And if you want to have that shimmy in, please do so. Shimmy of the rib cage. Remember, you can be higher, you can do a mixture of both. And then let's slowly come all the way back up, nice and long. Crown of the head towards the ceiling. Slowly swivel the toes around, coming back into that high lunge, high crescent. On the ball of the left foot, right knee is bent, hands through to heart. Soften the shoulders, elbows down, soften the fingers. And then just slowly step forward, feet hip width apart. Release the arms down. A few deep breaths here. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, just hinging forward, nice and easy. And then just come to tabletop, plant the hands, shoulders over the wrists, and let's do 3 cat-cows. Take a nice deep breath in as you exhale, slowly around the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, slowly come up. It's a nice easy cow, so just soften the chest, the belly, but don't spill the guts towards the floor. Just sprawl across the collarbones, and then slowly come into your cat. So just being careful with your cow, because a lot of people just drop the belly and don't pay attention to their lower back. So we don't have to jut the chin up. Last one. Well done. We will be coming down onto our backs. Just grabbing a drink. Once we're down on our back, I'm just going to let you know what we're doing. Our glute stretch will be figure of 4, and then we will, once we've done our glute stretch, bring the foot back down, and then we'll come over to a figure of 4 recline twist. Now, you can bring this foot, so my left foot to be on the block, or I can rest it on my 5, that feels more comfortable. And then we'll just stay here. I like to hold my foot, but you don't have to, and then you can bring the left arm all the way up. So when you're ready, grab a drink. We will be staying down there for a final relaxation. Just going to let you know, through your final relaxation, if you're near an armchair or a sofa or your bed or a wall, you can finish with either, imagine that that's a sofa or a chair with your legs just resting here, or you can come and do your legs up the wall if you want to. But if not, you can join me with just your pelvis on the floor. Slowly come down. Just get nice and comfy. Just bring the arms slightly away from the side of your body. Feet flat on the floor. Gentle hug into the midline. Float the left foot off the floor. Rotate the knee out to the left. Slowly place the left heel on that thigh, sliding it down. So the outside edge of what's on that foot, flex the foot. Float the right foot off the floor. And then you can bring that right foot into a block. Then, options, you can bring the hands through, thread them through, and bring the hands to the back of the right thigh, interlace the fingers, and you can use that hand to gently bring that right thigh in. Or you can place both hands on that left lower leg. Now, you can have that right lower leg, how we had it at the beginning of the session, where the ankles are along the knee, or you can just allow that lower leg to relax so the heel is coming down towards the buttocks, and just keep both feet flat. And just relax the upper body, just enjoying this glute stretch. Let's just do a couple more breaths here. Take a nice deep breath in. Big sigh out through the mouth. And float that right foot down. Keep that left foot where it is. And then slowly bring right knee over to the right, left foot over to the right, coming into your reclined figure of four. Remember, the left foot can be on the thigh or a block. And then you can just you can float the left arm up, so it's about shoulder height. Try to keep the back of the shoulder in contact with the floor. Head is in neutral. And then just soften the fingers, the hands, the elbows. And then from here, just gently roll the head from side to side, only if that feels comfortable for you. Because if not, you can just leave it in neutral. Just a gentle roll. So just mobilizing that neck. Nice and easy. And just allowing the breath to slow down. And then slowly bring that head back to neutral. Gentle hug into the midline. And then maybe use your hands as well to help bring you all the way back up. And then slowly float the left foot off the floor. Bring that knee back to center. So you're rotating it back in. Slowly float that left knee down. Just pause here for a moment. Gentle hug in, float the right knee off the floor, rotate the right knee out, place that right heel on the knee, maybe stay here or slide that foot further down. Maybe you're staying here, maybe you're floating the left foot off the floor and place it on the block. Maybe you can float that leg up a little bit higher, maybe you're interlacing the hands behind that left thigh and then using the hands to assist in the stretch, or maybe the hands are on that right lower leg. Flex both feet. Option to keep the left ankle on the left knee, or you can just release that left heel down towards the buttock, but keep the foot flexed. And just breathe. Check in that the upper body is relaxed, that you're on the back of the head, not the crown. Keep the length in the neck. Just a few more breaths here. Just checking there's no discomfort, pain in those knees or that ankle. And then take a nice deep breath in, slowly exhale out the mouth as you float that left foot down. Coming into our recline twist. So slowly coming over to the left. Remember, you can use a block for that right foot or place it on your thigh. It may feel different this side. Maybe float the arm up to about shoulder height. Keep the right shoulder, the back of the right shoulder in contact with the floor. Soften the elbow and the fingers. Check in with yourself. Maybe keep the head in neutral or gently roll the head from side to side, nice and slow. The breath should be just calm and smooth. And then bring the head back to neutral. And then maybe use the hands to help assist you come all the way back up. And then just place the foot flat on the floor. And then from here you have a choice. You can rest the lower legs on your sofa or your chair or your bed, or if you've got a spare wall near you, you can bring the legs up the wall. Or from here, just bring the arms down by the side of your body, but not right by the side, just a little bit away from the body, palms facing the ceiling. And then you can just float the legs up and come into waterfall, just for a few breaths here. So my knees are soft, but you can bring the heels down towards the buttocks if you want to. Just a few breaths here. And if your legs are up the wall or on your sofa, you can still stay there. But if you're just on your mat, just slowly float the feet to the floor. And then I'm coming into a knock knee position. So I'm bringing my feet wide, allow my knees to fall in together. And just pausing here. But if not, you can come into Shavasana. Now, anytime during your final relaxation, if you need to move, please do so. Just soften the face. And then before we come into our relaxation, we're just going to finish off with a breath. The breath is Chandra Badana, if I pronounce that right. And in English, it's called Piercing the Moon. And it's just a single nostril breath. So what we're going to do is take a nice deep breath in through the nose. A nice and easy exhale out through the nose. And then I will bring your right thumb or your index finger and use that right thumb to plug your right nostril. And then we're going to inhale through the left nostril. And exhale through that left nostril. And as you inhale through that left nostril, just imagine that you're drawing the breath up to the space between the eyebrows, your third eye. And we're doing 10 breaths. So just carry on. So this breath just helps decrease heat in your body and your mind. And it's a calm breath, a relaxing breath, just that state of relaxation. And then once you've done your 10 breaths, just float the arms to the floor. And if your legs are propped up on your chair or up the wall, if you want to change position and come into your corpse pose or Shavasana, please do so. And just close your eyes. Quick scan to make sure you're comfortable as possible. Check that that forehead is soft and the space between your eyebrows. And just feel yourself settling in. Calm, smooth, natural breath. Just setting aside your day. And as you exhale, just allow that day just to drift away, float away with each exhale. Any thoughts, any stresses, just allow them to drift away, float away with that exhale. That natural breath, smooth and calm, breathing with ease. Just bring awareness to your body and just let your awareness drift down to your feet. And just feel the natural weight of your feet. And just imagine your feet growing heavier and heavier. And just let that heavy feeling spread up into your calves and your shins. A feeling of relaxation. And just allow that feeling of heaviness, just allow it to spread up and over the knees, up into your upper legs. And just feel the muscles relaxing. And just let that heavy feeling, that feeling of relaxation, spread up into your hips, your lower back, your belly, your ribs. And just allow that heaviness, that feeling of relaxation to move up to the chest, the shoulders. And just allow that feeling of relaxation to spread all the way down to the arms, the hands and the fingers. And just allow that feeling of relaxation to move up the neck, to the face, and just relaxing all the muscles around your eyes, your mouth, your cheeks, your forehead. And just allowing that feeling of relaxation to move all the way up over the scalp, all the way back down to the back of the neck. A feeling of warmth, a feeling of release, a feeling of deep relaxation, a feeling of comfort. And just experience the stillness. And just remember, if you need to move, you can move, but just do so slowly and quietly. And just allow yourself to enjoy the stillness. This chance to do nothing. This chance just to rest. Deep rest. And just slowly start to bring awareness back to the breath. That natural breath, calm and smooth. And then slowly bring your awareness back to your body. I'm just going to bring some more movement to the body. Just slowly, just deepen the breath. And bring awareness to the movement of the rib cage. The gentle expansion as you inhale. The gentle softening as you exhale. The breath is still nice and easy. Not forcing it. And then maybe wiggle the fingers, maybe wiggle the toes. And if you feel like you need to hug the knees in towards the body, please do so. Just take your time. Maybe staying still, maybe swaying from side to side, or maybe you're just staying as you are. And then wherever you are, just slowly roll onto one side. Just pause in there for a moment. And then very, very slowly push your way up to an easy cross-legged. Maybe grab a block or your pillow to sit on. And once you get there, have a little wiggle. Close the eyes. Weight even both seat bones, lovely long spine, crown of the head towards the ceiling. Hands can be on the thighs. Palms down, palms up, or hands can just rest on the feet. And just bring awareness to the breath. The in breath, the out breath, the inhale, the exhale. And slowly bring the palms together, float the hands through to heart center, the thumbs connect to the heartbeat, soften the fingers, the shoulders, elbows point down. And just take a moment to thank yourself for showing up for practice, thanking your body, thanking your mind for being here. And I'm going to thank you once more for joining me this evening. Slowly bow the head towards the fingertips. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you find peace within. And very, very slowly flutter your eyes so you're gazing at your fingertips. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bring your head up. From my heart to yours, namaste. May the divine in me greet the divine in you. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions on what we've done, you can either drop in a little message here, you can direct message me on Instagram, or you can email me. But I hope you enjoyed that. It was really, really lovely to practice with you. And I hope you're all well. Sleep well, sweet dreams, and hopefully I'll see you really, really soon. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.